Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson explores why people behave differently and how understanding these differences can improve communication. The author reflects on how, during high school, he noticed getting along with some people was easy, while others felt like blockheads. He questioned why some conversations flowed naturally while others didn't. Later, at 25, he met Stura, a business owner who claimed he was surrounded by idiots. Stura criticized his employees harshly, calling them idiots, even installing a red light to signal when he was in the office. The author realized that Stura couldn't understand people different from him. This made him decide to study human behavior to understand why people act the way they do. This book is based on the DISA system: dominance, inducement, submission, and analytic ability, which helps explain human communication. He divides people into 4 personality types: reds, yellows, greens, and blues. Reds are dominant, results-driven, and like to take charge. Yellows are social, energetic, and love to interact with others. Greens are calm, supportive, and prefer harmony. Blues are analytical, detail-focused, and thoughtful. The author learned that understanding these differences improved his life, making him less judgmental and more patient. He encourages readers to continue learning and understanding others. Chapter 1. Communication happens on the listener's terms. In this chapter, Thomas Erikson explains that effective communication depends on how the listener perceives the message, not just how the speaker intends to deliver it. He emphasizes that people have different communication styles based on their personality types: red, yellow, green, and blue. The key to successful communication is adapting to the listener's needs and preferences, rather than expecting them to understand your message in the way you intend. By recognizing the personality types of others, we can adjust our approach, making our communication more effective and reducing misunderstandings. Chapter 2. Why we are the way we are. The author explores the reasons behind why people behave differently. He explains that our behavior is shaped by both our biological makeup and life experiences. The chapter delves into how our personality traits, including our emotional responses and thought patterns, influence how we interact with others. Erikson introduces the concept of personality types, based on the DISA model, which stands for dominance, inducement, submission, and analytic ability. This framework helps explain the natural tendencies and behaviors that drive us and how these traits influence our relationships and communication. Chapter 3. An Introduction to the DISA System. In this chapter, Thomas Erikson introduces the DISA system, a framework designed to understand different personality types. The system divides people into 4 categories: dominance, red, inducement, yellow, submission, green, and analytic ability, blue. Each category represents a specific behavior pattern. Reds are results-driven, competitive, and like to take charge. Yellows are social, enthusiastic, and thrive on interaction and recognition. Greens are calm, supportive, and value stability and harmony. Blues are logical, detail-oriented, and seek accuracy and structure. Erikson explains that these personality types help explain how people perceive and respond to the world around them. The chapter emphasizes how understanding these different types allows us to communicate more effectively, as we can tailor our approach to each personality type. Recognizing these traits helps avoid misunderstandings and improves relationships, whether at work or in personal life. Chapter 4. Red Behavior: How to Recognize a Real Alpha and Avoid Getting in His Way. In this chapter, the author dives deeper into the characteristics of the red personality. Reds are natural leaders who thrive on competition, action, and results. They are confident, decisive, and often take charge in any situation. Reds dislike delays and inefficiency, and their direct, no-nonsense communication style can sometimes come across as intimidating or aggressive. Erikson explains that Reds are focused on achieving goals and may overlook details or the feelings of others in the process. They excel in high-pressure situations but can be impatient with those who are slower or less decisive. To work effectively with Reds, Erikson advises being clear, concise, and result-oriented in communication. Avoid wasting their time with unnecessary explanations or indecisiveness. The chapter also emphasizes that understanding and respecting a Red's focus on efficiency can help build a better relationship with them, while clashing with their personality may lead to unnecessary conflicts. Chapter 5. Yellow Behavior: How to recognize someone whose head is in the clouds and get him back to reality again. The author explores the traits of the yellow personality type. Yellows are enthusiastic, optimistic, and highly social. They thrive on interaction, love being the center of attention, and often bring energy and positivity to any situation. Creative and full of ideas, they are skilled at inspiring others but can struggle with staying grounded or following through on tasks. Yellows tend to avoid negativity or criticism, preferring environments that celebrate their energy and contributions. They may seem scattered or overly idealistic, focusing on possibilities rather than practicalities. Erikson explains that while yellows are great at brainstorming and motivating, they can lose interest in detailed planning or execution. To work effectively with yellows, focus on keeping things engaging and positive. Give them the freedom to express their ideas, but provide gentle guidance to help them stay on track. By understanding their need for creativity and recognition, you can harness their energy while helping them turn ideas into reality. Chapter 6. Green Behavior: Why change is so difficult and how to get around it. In this chapter, the author delves into the green personality type, known for being calm, supportive, and resistant to change. Greens value stability, harmony, and routines. They are dependable team players who avoid conflict and work steadily behind the scenes. However, their aversion to confrontation and change can make them appear indecisive or unmotivated. Erikson explains that Greens are deeply empathetic and prioritize relationships, often putting others' needs ahead of their own. They prefer consistency and find comfort in familiarity, which is why they resist change, even when it's necessary. This resistance stems from their fear of the unknown and their desire to maintain peace and avoid stress. To work effectively with Greens, Erikson advises patience and clear communication. Introduce changes gradually, explain the reasons behind them, and provide reassurance. Avoid pressuring them as they need time to process and adjust. By understanding their need for stability and showing support, you can help Greens embrace change without overwhelming them. Chapter 7. Blue Behavior: In Pursuit of Perfection. In this chapter, Thomas Erikson examines the blue personality type, characterized by a meticulous, analytical, and detail-oriented nature. Blues strive for perfection in everything they do. They are highly organized, logical, and prefer to work in structured environments. Accuracy and precision are their top priorities, and they often excel in tasks that require attention to detail and critical thinking. However, Erikson explains that Blues can be overly cautious, hesitant to make decisions without complete information, and prone to overanalyzing. Their pursuit of perfection can lead to delays and frustration when others don't meet their high standards. They may also seem overly critical or cold, as they focus on facts rather than emotions. To communicate effectively with Blues, Erikson suggests being thorough, clear, and prepared. Provide data and logical reasoning to support your points, and avoid rushing them into decisions. By respecting their need for accuracy and giving them the time and information they require, you can build trust and work productively with them. Chapter 8. No one is completely perfect. Strengths and weaknesses. Thomas Erikson highlights how each personality type in the DISA system has unique strengths and flaws. Reds are decisive, bold, and results-driven but can be impatient, controlling, and insensitive. Yellows are energetic, creative, and excellent motivators but often lack focus, avoid criticism, and struggle with follow-through. Greens are empathetic, reliable, and harmonious, but resist change, avoid confrontation, and can be overly passive. Blues are logical, detail-oriented, and precise, but may be overly critical, perfectionistic, and slow to make decisions. Erikson stresses that no one is flawless, and understanding these strengths and weaknesses is key to better communication and relationships. By accepting these traits in ourselves and others, we can work more effectively and navigate differences with greater understanding and patience. Chapter 9. Learning New Things. How to use what you've learned. Thomas Erikson discusses how to apply the knowledge of different personality types to improve communication and relationships. He emphasizes that learning about personality traits is only valuable if you use the insights to adjust your approach to others. Understanding the red, yellow, green, and blue types helps you communicate more effectively by tailoring your messages to their specific preferences and needs. Erikson advises that the key to applying this knowledge is to be observant, flexible, and willing to adapt. You need to identify others' personality types in various situations and modify how you engage with them. For example, you may need to be direct and goal-focused with a red, while using a more supportive and empathetic approach with a green. The more you practice recognizing these traits, the more naturally you'll be able to interact with people, avoiding conflicts and improving both personal and professional relationships. Chapter 10. Body language. Why? How you move matters. How do you really look? In this chapter, Thomas Erikson discusses the importance of nonverbal communication and how body language can reveal a lot about a person's personality. He explains that our posture, gestures, facial expressions, and movements often reflect our inner thoughts and feelings, sometimes even more than our words. Erikson links body language to the DISA personality types. For example, reds often have a strong, assertive posture, making them seem confident and in control. Yellows are more expressive and animated, using gestures to emphasize their excitement. Greens tend to have a relaxed, calm demeanor, often avoiding direct eye contact to maintain harmony. Blues, on the other hand, are precise and controlled, with measured movements and attention to detail. Understanding body language helps us better interpret the emotions and intentions of others. Erikson encourages readers to become more aware of their own body language and to observe the nonverbal cues of others, as it can significantly enhance communication and reduce misunderstandings. Chapter 11. A real-life example. The company party. How to understand everyone you meet. In this chapter, Thomas Erikson uses a real-life example of a company party to show how different personality types interact in social settings. At the party, people display traits based on their DISA types. Reds are assertive and take charge of conversations, while yellows seek attention, socializing enthusiastically. Greens tend to stay in the background, engaging in calm, one-on-one conversations, avoiding conflict. Blues, however, are reserved and focus on smaller groups or one-on-one discussions, analyzing the situation carefully. Erikson demonstrates that by recognizing these behaviors, we can adjust our interactions and communicate more effectively with people of all personality types. Chapter 12. Adaptation. How to handle idiots, i.e., everyone who isn't like you. In this chapter, Thomas Erikson talks about how to deal with people who are different from you. Instead of calling them idiots, he suggests understanding their personality and adjusting how you communicate with them. People have different types. Reds are direct and want results. Yellows are social and need attention. Greens are calm and supportive, and blues like details and structure. By recognizing these differences and adapting how you talk to others, you can avoid frustration and improve your relationships. This approach helps make communication easier and more effective. Chapter 13. How to deliver really bad news. The challenge of speaking your mind. In this chapter, Thomas Erikson explains how to deliver bad news to people with different personality types. He emphasizes that giving tough feedback or sharing difficult news requires sensitivity and understanding. Reds appreciate directness and don't mind bad news as long as it's clear and quick. Yellows, on the other hand, need reassurance and a positive approach, as they may get upset if the news is too harsh. Greens prefer a calm, gentle delivery and need time to process, while blues value precision and detail, so they need to know exactly what went wrong and how to fix it. Understanding these preferences helps you deliver bad news effectively without causing unnecessary stress or conflict. Chapter 14. Who gets along and why it works. Group dynamics at their finest. The author explores how different personality types interact in groups and why some teams work well together while others struggle. Reds tend to take charge and lead the group, while yellows bring energy and creativity, often sparking ideas. Greens are supportive and help maintain harmony, keeping things calm. Blues focus on details and structure, ensuring everything runs smoothly. Erikson explains that a good team includes a mix of these types, as each brings strengths that complement each other. Understanding these dynamics allows groups to work more efficiently, with everyone contributing in ways that suit their personality, making collaboration smoother and more successful. Chapter 15. Written communication. How to evaluate someone when you can't meet in person. In this chapter, Thomas Erikson discusses how to evaluate and communicate with people through written messages when face-to-face interaction is not possible. He explains that different personality types have unique styles of written communication. Reds are direct and to the point, often focusing on results. Yellows tend to be informal, enthusiastic, and sometimes long-winded, often using humor and creativity. Greens write in a calm and friendly manner, preferring to keep things polite and non-confrontational. Blues, on the other hand, are precise, organized, and structured, often focusing on details and clarity. Understanding these differences can help you better interpret written messages and adjust your communication accordingly. Chapter 16. What makes us as mad as hell? Temperament can reveal everything about a person. In this chapter, Thomas Erikson explores how a person's temperament can reveal why they get angry and how to understand their reactions. He explains that each personality type reacts differently to frustration or stress. Reds are quick to anger, often displaying their emotions openly and seeking to take control of situations. Yellows may get frustrated when they feel ignored or when their creativity is stifled, but they usually express it in a dramatic or playful way. Greens become upset when there's conflict or when things change unexpectedly, and they may withdraw or avoid confrontation. Blues can get frustrated by disorganization or inefficiency, and may become critical or distant. Understanding these emotional triggers helps in managing conflicts and reacting to others more effectively. Chapter 17. Stress factors and energy thieves. What is stress? In this chapter, Thomas Erikson discusses stress and how different personality types handle it. He explains that stress is caused when we feel overwhelmed or out of control. Reds experience stress when things are not moving fast enough or when they lose control of situations. Yellows feel stressed when they're not getting attention or when their creativity is restricted. Greens get stressed in environments with conflict or change, as they prefer stability and peace. Blues become stressed when things are disorganized or lack structure, and when they don't have enough information to make decisions. Erikson highlights that understanding these stress triggers can help you manage your own stress and respond to others more effectively. Chapter 18. A short reflection. Through history, people have always been like this. Thomas Erikson reflects on how the different personality types have existed throughout history. He explains that the 4 personality types, red, yellow, green, and blue, are not new. They have always been part of human nature. Ancient leaders, warriors, and thinkers exhibited traits that align with these types. Reds, for example, could be found in positions of power and leadership, while yellows were the entertainers or creative thinkers. Greens often served as advisors or mediators, and blues were the meticulous planners and analysts. Erikson points out that understanding these traits in historical figures helps us see that human behavior has remained largely consistent over time, and recognizing these patterns can improve our understanding of people today. Chapter 19. Voices from Real Life. Thomas Erikson shares real-life examples of how understanding personality types has helped improve communication and relationships. He includes stories from people who have successfully applied the knowledge of the DISA system to their personal and professional lives. These stories show how recognizing the different behavior types, red, yellow, green, and blue, has helped individuals handle conflicts, improve teamwork, and manage stress. Erikson emphasizes that by adapting to others' communication styles, we can create more harmonious and productive relationships, both at work and in our personal lives. The chapter highlights the practical benefits of using this system in everyday situations. Chapter 20. A final example from everyday life, perhaps the most enlightening team project in the history of the world. At a conference, a manager conducted an experiment with groups of successful telecom managers, each with different behavior profiles: red, yellow, green, and blue. The groups were given a task to solve within an hour. The red group finished quickly, but misunderstood the task. The yellow group was energetic, but also failed to complete the task. The green group was calm, but struggled to make decisions, while the blue group focused too much on details, delaying their solution. Each group presented differently, reflecting their behavior styles. The experiment showed how different personality types approach problem-solving and teamwork. The purpose of the whole exercise was to highlight that no group should be composed solely of individuals of the same type. Diversity is the only possible route. The best way to put a group of people together is by mixing different types of people. This is the only way to achieve decent dynamics in any group. This seems intuitive, but despite this, most of the organizations I have encountered fail on this fundamental requirement when they recruit people. Managers bring in new people who are just like themselves because they understand each other. This book has been about explaining exactly why the groups in this example worked the way they did, and giving you the tools to avoid similar problems in your own life. I hope that you found pleasure in reading it and joining in this exciting exploration of how people function, what makes them similar, and what makes them different. Because we are all different. If you keep your eyes open, you'll find out exactly how different. The rest is up to you. I'm Daniel. Thanks for watching. I hope you found these ideas useful. Don't forget to use them in your day-to-day life. I'll see you in the next video.